Hi everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager, Season 5, Episode 6, Timeless. So, this is the 100th episode of Voyager, and it's a great episode. Like, it was a really well done episode. Kind of going back to the Next Generation, the 100th episode of that one was kind of lucky. It fell on the Season 4 finale, Season 5 premiere, so it was the two-part redemption episode, the Klingon story, whereas, like, Deep Space Nine's 100th episode was The Ship, which was a fine episode, but it didn't stand out to me in any sort of way. And to be honest with you, like, Redemption wasn't that great of a two-parter to me when I did that review, just because it was too political with all the Klingon stuff. It was cool to see the Duras sisters, but that's about it. Whereas this episode really stood out. Like, watching this one, I could feel like this is an important episode, and I really enjoyed it. Kind of to bring up the Next Generation again, this episode was directed by LeVar Burton, who does a great job and even kind of makes an appearance as Geordi LaForge, so that's awesome. So from the very beginning, like, we see Voyager is trapped under ice, and we don't know that it's the future yet, but so it's trapped under ice, and Harry and Chakotay are there, and they talk about how Voyager is just destroyed. And, like, we see Janeway's body, and we see some other people, and they're all just frozen on the ship. So they eventually find Seven's body, and they beam her out of there. And then they find the Doctor's mobile emitter, and Harry activates him and takes him along with them. And it turns out that in the past, Voyager tried to use the slipstream drive, which is something that was kind of the end of last season. They had kind of brought it up and stuff. And Voyager attempted to use it, and something goes wrong, and it crashes. And it's kind of a great scene where they're about to bring it on board, and Seven gets drunk. It's very reminiscent of, like, Troy and First Contact and stuff. And even the Doctor's like, well, evidently the Borg can't hold their liquor. And it's just kind of nice. Harry tells the Doctor that it's been 15 years, which I love anytime they go into the future for shows like this, because if you look at Star Trek aging in real time, 15 years for us would have been 2013. So, like, we've way surpassed that already. Which, kind of a side note, that's why I'm super excited for Picard, because it's been, like, the season finale of The Next Generation was 25 years into the future, and now Picard is 25 years into the future. So stuff like that I nerd out about. So anyways, 15 years in the future, and like I said, Captain LaForge of the Challenger shows up, which, again, to go back to Picard, I really hope we see Captain LaForge of the Challenger. And is basically, it turns out that Chakotay and Harry are, like, wanted criminals. And 9 years ago, Starfleet called off the search for Voyager because it was just lost. And so Chakotay and Harry steal the Delta Flyer, and they're trying to find Voyager to go back in time to fix things. Which, this whole plot is eerily similar to the series finale. A little bit of spoiler there. So, to kind of jump to the end, Harry is able to contact Seven and change the coordinates of the slipstream drive, but it doesn't work, and they still die. And so the Doctor is like, you know what, use my mobile emitter, do it again, but just have them, like, come out of the slipstream drive. Just completely take them out of it. Don't try to fix it. And so they do, and so of course Voyager tries to go into it, and then they drop right back out. So they're still stuck in the Delta Quadrant, but at least they're still intact. And Janeway says, like, you know what, clearly Voyager's not ready for this slipstream technology, so we're just going to shelve this for a while until we're ready for it. But they do knock off 10 years off the trip, which I should have done the math before doing this review, but I feel like, because Kess knocked them like 10 years, this knocks them like 10 years, at one point they knocked 2 years and 5 years, so I feel like we've lost almost 30 years off of this trip. So rather than being a 70-year trip, it's now down to like a 40-year trip. So they're, like, in their lifetime, they're going to make it home at this point. And this is kind of when they stop going, if we make it home and when we make it home, because they keep knocking off these 10-year chunks. So overall, I would say this was a really good episode. I had a lot of fun with it. It really kind of stood out to me, even as a little kid, like seeing Geordi and stuff like that. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a lot of fun. So for those who have seen this one, Did you like it? Did it stand out to you as a 100th episode? And what did you think about Redemption and the ship? Like the three big Star Treks, what did you think about the 100 episode mark? What did you think about LeVar Burton directing it? What did you think about the whole time travel plot? And then what do you think about the whole 10 years knocked off part? So go ahead, let me know. Thank you guys for subscribing. It means a lot to me, and I will see you guys next time for Infinite Regress.